The weeks-long standoff between supporters and opponents of suspended South Korean President Yoon Yeol continues. Thousands of South Koreans are gathering in Seoul for rival demonstrations as investigators prepare another attempt to arrest Yoon over his short-lived martial law decree. Yoon has holed up in his residence and resisted arrest after his failed power grab in December plunged South Korea into its worst political crisis in decades. DW correspondent James Chater in Seoul tells us more about today's demonstrations.
Well, more than a week after that dramatic standoff between investigators trying to detain Yoon Yeol and the security services that are protecting him, more than a month after that initial martial law declaration, another weekend of protests paralyzing really the streets of Seoul, both in support of Yoon Yeol but also those calling for the impeachment proceedings to go through. Right now, we're at one of the main boulevards in the center of Seoul, where there are big demonstrations, thousands of people, again on both sides. Earlier in the day, are outside that residence where Yoon Yeol has been barricaded inside for more than a week now. There, protests have been going on throughout the week. Each day this week, protesters have been camped out in some cases, and really no sign that this political crisis is going to be brought to a swift conclusion, and therefore no sign that those protests are going to conclude anytime soon as well.
How likely is it that the arrest warrant against President Yoon will still be executed at some point? And what are the risks involved?
Well, the investigators trying to detain Yoon Yeol have said that they will seek a second attempt. That's after they were able to renew that detention warrant for Yoon Yeol. The head of the Presidential Security Services, this is a part of the South Korean government which has been protecting Yoon Yeol, resigned yesterday evening. But in doing so, he called for both agencies, both organs of the South Korean government, to avoid bloodshed. There has been some concern that the confrontation between these two agencies of the South Korean government could turn violent, and there's been some talk that the agency looking to arrest Yoon Yeol would try to wait until after the weekend. Of course, during the weekend, many more people are able to come out and protest. Some talk that they would try and wait until after the weekend to execute that arrest warrant to limit the risk of things spiraling out of control. But the agency looking to detain Yoon Yeol has said they will try and arrest him again. The question is when that will happen and how strongly the Presidential Security Services, which are protecting him, will try to stop that from happening.
Clearly, South Korean democracy has been in chaos for more than a month now. What effects are already apparent?
Well, really, the main impact has just been the paralysis of the political situation. You talk to people on both sides of the political spectrum here, people on both sides of the argument, and both of them really believe that they are the side which is protesting in support of, in defense of South Korea's democracy, and that bodes negatively for the ability of South Korea's politics and society to heal after this incident. Do you think, beyond this political crisis, which has really gripped the country again for more than a month now, and could go on for many more months to come, the country really is facing so many other significant challenges, both domestically, of course, in terms of the economy, which has taken a big battering because of this political instability. But of course, further afield, you have North Korea testing more missiles, a Trump presidency about to begin. Trump has, of course, warned that he could ask South Korea to pay much more for the American military presence in South Korea. So really concerns, again, on both sides, that bigger issues are going to be put on the back burner because of this political crisis, which again, I repeat, looks like will continue for some weeks to come.
That's James Chater in South Korea's capital, Seoul. Thank you, James.